guys, Larissa with BeCozi.net is here. BeCozi.net and BeCozi.com is an American website with the biggest collection of chunky yarns for hand knitting. So today I'm using our 4 beautiful colors, white, charcoal gray, gray, and black. And we will be making this beautiful blanket. Let me put the yarn away. Like that. So here it is. It's a beautiful blanket. It's a big blanket, pretty big, medium size, 40 by 60. And you see this beautiful color combination and actually stitches combination. So it will be alternating knitted and purl stitches, and then alternating 4 rows of these beautiful colors. And this is, you will need these 4 colors. I will put the amount of yarn underneath the video. There will be a link to our website underneath the video. You can just click and then you can go there and select these beautiful colors. So when you have colors ready, let's get started. Okay, guys, so here is our yarn that we will be using. It will be white. After white, we will be using charcoal gray. Then we will be using gray and then black. So this will be the color combination. So we will start with our white color. So I will move away the other colors for now. And we'll take the label off. We'll find the end of the yarn over here. And we're placing the yarn in front of us like that. This is the tail. This is working yarn. And working yarn goes on the top like that. And then you are inserting your hand inside this loop, grab working yarn and pull it out. And there's 2 strings down. So this is your first stitch. And the stitch is too big. So what you will need to do, you will need to pull it down. Pull working yarn down and make the stitch about an inch, maybe an inch and a half. So now we will be casting on a chain of 25 stitches, guys, okay? So insert your hand or fingers inside the stitch, grab working yarn and pull it out. This is second stitch and you need to try to make stitches of the same size. So next stitch, I'm pressing the bottom of the second stitch. I'm inserting my hand. I'm grabbing working yarn and pull it out. Why I'm pressing the yarn here? If you don't press the yarn here with your fingers, when you are trying to pull yarn out, you can pull more yarn here and the stitches will be of different size. And we are trying to make them all of the same size. So we are starting with our white color, and the blanket, as I said in the introduction, the size of the blanket is 40 by 60, 40 inches wide and 60 inches long. And I'm using 4 different colors. And for blanket with the width of 40, you need to start with 25 stitches. So let's count our stitches. Place the cast on chain in front of you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we need 5 more stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now when our yarn is ready, well, our cast on chain is ready, we are flipping it on another side like that. The reason we're doing it because we are trying to have this beautiful chain on the bottom of the blanket that looks very nice and professionally made. That's why we flipped it on another side. And here we will be knitting the middle part of the stitch, guys. Not the top, not the bottom, the middle part. So this is our first stitch. This stitch we're knitting differently. We're going from underneath, we're grabbing working yarn and pulling it through the stitch. So this is our first stitch. Starting the next stitch, we will be knitting the middle part of the stitch over here. So I'm lifting this middle part, I'm inserting my hand or fingers, grab working yarn and pull it out. And then we're doing the same for the next. So here we are. And we are simply pulling out our first row. It's called pulling out the first row. And the main thing here to try to keep all the stitches of the same size or the same height. That will make your blanket looking nicely when it's done. So when we are done pulling out the first row, we will need one more row in white, and then in white color in knitting stitch, because our pattern will be 2 rows knitted, 2 rows purled. So here we are. Our first row is pulled out. So now we are knitting our second row. Okay, this is our pattern. 2 knitted rows, 2 purled. So we are inserting our fingers inside this first stitch on the left. This is our working yarn. It's sitting here. It's easy to reach it when it's on the back. And you are grabbing working yarn and you're pulling it out. Again, try to make all stitches of the same size. This way, the finished blanket will look very nice and beautiful. I am knitting usually with the medium tightness. I don't like loose knitting, but I am not really big fan of very tight knitting either. So I am, as I said, this is medium tight knitting. Stitches are pretty small, but they're not tiny, which will make blanket tighter and require more yarn, and it will be also heavier. So if you want it to be heavier, more like a weighted blanket, that's what you need to do. So second row, last stitch, don't forget to knit it. Here, we knitted it. Now, starting this row, we will be so 2 knitted and now 2 purled. So I showed you how to make knitted stitch. Now we will be purling. For purling, yarn goes on the top of the stitch like that. It's not on the bottom. It's not on the back of the blanket, it's on the top over here. So this is our first stitch. What we will be doing, we will be taking this working yarn, holding the stitch with your left hand, and then push yarn through. And this is our purl stitch. See, purl stitch has this bump in the middle of the stitch. So take the stitch, take working yarn, and push it through. And this is our purled stitch. So I will be making 2 rows of purl stitch, and then I'll be back to show you what to do next. Okay, guys, so we have 2 knitted, 2 purled. This is our last stitch. We're purling it. And now we're moving to the knitting part. We are knitting next 2 rows. So, okay, guys, so we are done with our 4 rows, 2 knitted and 2 purled. And now we will be adding our charcoal gray color, okay? Charcoal gray. So for charcoal gray, find the end. And here I will show you 2 different ways of connecting the yarn. So if you want to connect it with the knot, which is usually my preferred way, especially for blankets. So what I'm doing, I'm cutting the yarn, I'm leaving about 3-4 inches, and then I am, after making last stitch, and then I am taking the other color and making a knot, and I'm making second one, and then pull it in both directions until you feel that there is no way to pull. And then you cut in the tails close to the yarn, close to the, not the yarn, to the knot. And here we are. So because we will be knitting the next stitch, so this knot will go inside, and it's very obvious and seen now, but when you will be knitting the next stitch, that next stitch will cover that knot. So the knot will stay on the back. Another way to connect the yarn will be I will cut the yarn here, cut our knot. And the other way to connect the yarn, cut it close to the last stitch, and then you will need a lighter. I'm using the small lighter. It's much easier to use than the big one. And then what you're doing, you are burning the yarn you're connecting, and then you're taking this yarn and you're connecting these two ends together. You're pushing them toward each other and wait for a few seconds until it's not too hot, and then you can rub the connection side, pulling it, pushing it together. And here we are, we just connected our yarn. This is much cleaner connection. Many people prefer this one. The only reason I don't like it because it's not holding as well as the knot. But it's up to you how you like it. So here we are now knitting 2 rows with our charcoal gray color. So simple knitting stitch. We're knitting 2 and then purling 2, and then we are switching to the next color, which will be gray. The connection will be the same after 4 rows, 2 knitted, 2 purl, and then you're connecting gray, and you are making 2 rows knitted, 2 purled with gray, and then you're going to black color. And then after black, 4 rows, you are switching black back to white. When you are done with all the yarn, and you will need, for the simple blanket 40 by 60, you need 7 skeins, but in this case it will be less because you're using different colors. I will put a number of skeins you need under the video. Then the size will be 60 inches long. Then you can cast off, and I will be back to show you how to do it. Okay, guys, so our beautiful blanket is done. So you can see white, charcoal gray, gray, and black. And then I'm just alternating 4 rows, 2 knitted, 2 purled. It's a big and beautiful blanket. And now we're ready to cast off. We purled 2 stitches white, and now we will be casting off. For casting off, I am taking 2 stitches together and then grab working yarn and pull it through these 2 stitches. Then put the stitch back on your fingers, add another stitch, and knit 2 together. So this is the way to cast off. It's the simplest way to cast off a chunky knitted blanket. You have this beautiful chain on the top, and remember I told you about the chain on the bottom? Here is our chain on the bottom because we flipped our first row. Only this way will give you this beautiful chain on the bottom when you're flipping cast on chain. So here we are knitting 1 stitch at a time. Try not to miss any stitches, so go back like that and double check that there are no missed stitches, and then you can keep knitting 1 stitch at a time. So here we are, we're almost done. Don't miss any stitches. If you do, you will need to unravel this last row and knit that missed stitch if you miss any. So when you're down to 1 stitch over here, 2 last stitches, you have 1 stitch. This is the tail goes inside the last stitch, and then you're pulling it, and you just finished your blanket. This working yarn goes underneath this chain. I usually go underneath and out, up, front, and on the back. Here we are. Then this knot that I made at the end of the yarn, you can just tuck it in anywhere. Here you go. So beautiful blankets is ready. There's beautiful colors available at BeCozi.net. They're not available in any craft stores. So go buy them, make this beautiful blanket, stay warm and be cozy. Hey guys, Larissa with BeCozi.net is here. I would like to introduce my hand knitting book. The book was published in September 21, and recently it was also published with the Christian Publishing Agency. It's available on our website and also available on Amazon. This is the only book on hand knitting on the craft market. It's extremely unique and very beautiful book explaining hand knitting, giving you a history of our company, how hand knitting was born, and then it also gives you a few patterns, simple patterns with very detailed pictures how to make every single step on the way. Go to the link underneath this video and purchase this book, and let's hand knit.